welcome to Jira session. Today we'll learn what is Jira used for in Agile, basic walkthrough, we'll go through the application itself, what is Epic, what is story, defect, and how to create an Epic. Let's move forward. So basically what is Jira, right? So Jira is a software application that is built by Atlassian, which is an Australian company that helps all types of teams to manage their work. In other words, it can be termed as project management tool as well. So what is Jira used for in Agile, right? For our software development, it is getting very popular these days, and many companies are moving towards Jira for their project management. So it is very popular for the Agile project management tool that supports like different methodology within Jira itself. It supports Scrum, Kanban, or unique flavor as well. So from Agile boards, backlog, roadmap, reports, integration, add-ons, many more, right? It has many more features built in. It is a very powerful tool for project management. And you can plan, track, manage all your Agile software development project from a single tool. Epic, story, defect. These words are widely used in Jira and in project management. So what does that mean? Let's go ahead with Epic. Epic, you can consider it's a large body of work that can be broken down into a number of smaller stories. So you can say Epic is a collection of stories, right? Epic is always bigger than a story. And let's see, what is story then? Like, okay, if Epic is a large body of work and that can be broken down into the number of smaller stories, then what is story? So story is also called user stories inside, right? And those are the requirement or request written from perspective from the end user. So for example, like if an end user has a requirement of creating a login screen or any small feature in that, so those will be considered as user stories, and it will be written in as part of the requirement in a story. So what is subtask? A subtask is nothing but a division of a parent issue. Like for example, for a parent story into chunks of work that can be assigned and tracked individually. What does that mean is, let's take an example that you had a story of building one screen, right? So what could be the subtask under that? So subtask can be like you will be implementing the code. So you can have one of the subtasks called implementing the code. Another can be the code review. Another can be the manual testing. And another task can be automation suite, right? Like all those things will be considered as a subtask, which can be tracked individually. Those will be created as a subtask under this story, and then the user will move forward to work on it. So just to summarize, Epic is a larger body and it can be broken down into stories. And so with regards to stories, it is nothing but just a requirement or a request in a written format. And even on stories, it can be broken down into subtasks for just to track individual work, right? Which can be tracked and assigned individually. So those things will be broken down from the story, and it will be given as a subtask, and that will be assigned to different individuals. So here's the picture view, right? What Epic and story and defect looks like. Let's say like there is an initiative that your company is coming with one of the feature, and let's say they have divided on two Epic, like one for the UI, one for the API, and let's say UI have different story, like the story 1 and story 2, right? And each story have their subtasks. So this is how the whole hierarchy looks. Basic walkthrough, right? I'll just go ahead and log into Jira application, and I'll walk you through sprint backlog, story, defect, Epic, and the burn down chart. Let's go ahead and log in with Jira. So I do have here my URL. So as soon as I log in, since I have already set the username and password, it is coming to the page. So I'll just go ahead and select the one of the team. Let's take an example that I'm working on dashboard team here, right? So as soon as I click the dashboard team, the dashboard appears, and this is what the dashboard looks like. It can be customized as well by your admin, but most probably this is how most of the team set up, right? So whenever the work is in to do, like you can have multiple columns added: to do, in progress, blocked, in testing, completed, done. Every team has their own hierarchy, like work hierarchy, right? So workflow. So depending on the workflow, this can be customized, but most probably this will look like similar, and it will be just added few columns on the dashboard. So active sprint, right? So whenever the active sprint is clicked, the current board appears. So this is what the board is used by Scrum Masters to go through the stand up and get the update for everyone. So they will just go ahead and select the one of the name, and they'll just look for like, okay, what the current person is doing. So let's go through the backlog here. We have a backlog menu here, and what does that backlog means is backlog means a collection where all the user stories lies, which has not been prioritized. So this is where the backlog, and backlog has all the tickets here as you can see. And so what is sprint backlog then? Let's say sprint backlog is something if we assign any story or task or any defects to particular sprint, then those information will comes under the sprint backlog. As you can see here, this is where the sprint and sprint backlog in the under the sprint 2, this is what the work is like. So beside that, we do have reports as well that team generally looks for. As you can see here, there are different type of chart that team can look up: burn down chart, burn up chart, sprint report, velocity, version report. So depending on the team need, team can go ahead and create a report customized for them. So coming back to the backlog itself here, so let me go ahead and show you like how does the story looks like. Let me go ahead and click this UI login screen since this is a story. So here you go. So we do have a story here, UI login screen. This is the description that needs to be done, design, right, acceptance criteria, and these are the subtasks. Like for to create this login screen, that our team has built a subtask called like functional testing, login screen, TLM integration, API integration, and many more. So we do have a defect that is blocking. So this is how we link the defect. It's if it's like linked with this, or whether it's blocking or it's only linked with, those things can be linked. Perfect. Let's look here. We do have an epic that is found over here. Let's take this as a sample. We do have an epic. Epic, some title has been given, and within this epic, the defect is linked, story is linked. This is how the whole epic, story, and defect are linked with it. So let's go ahead and create one epic. Let's say your team is building. So let's say your team. Firstly we have to select our project. What is your project? And let's go with the by default. As part of the story, we're going to create an epic. So let's say you're going to build a feature, and let's categorize like UI and API, right? UI. You can give the feature name here. Student loan November lease enhancement. And so loan number enhancement. So summary can be student loan UI work component. Let's give UI, and let's give the dashboard team as well. And you just you can add the details that you want here in the description. Add details. I'll just write add details at the moment. And you can just link any issue, whatever the story is linked with it, right? Let me go ahead and add few stories that can be linked with it. So let's go ahead and add few more here, and let's go ahead and add like few defect as well that let's say those are under this epic itself. You can assign it to your product owner or anyone in your team. Let's say Balrai is our product owner and he's leading this team. You can use a label depends on your team, like what they are exactly using. So sprint, so you can pull into the current sprint, or you can move it to the backlog depending on the priority of the work. And let's go ahead and create it. As you can see here, this has been created, and let's go ahead and open it to see how it looks like. As you can see here, we created an epic DT135 standalone UI work, and as you can see here, the linked issue is like under this epic there are like too many stories, too many defects that needs to be worked on, right? So this is how it works.